Welcome, everyone. It's the Mike Tech Show, show number 954. The main topic for tonight's show, and you'll understand when I go through the links, Windows 11 Revisited. Got some new info, some old info, but I think it's important as we keep closing in on the date, October 14th, and there's some new information that I want to share. Now, before we start, I have two things I want to talk about. One where a client needs help, and then another one, like right before the show, I had to solve something, and I just have to share this quick solution. So first, I want everybody, as I'm recording this on the Thursday night, July 3rd, 2025, I want to wish everybody a happy 4th of July weekend, as tomorrow, the 4th of July, if you're celebrating the holiday, you're in the United States, stay safe, stay cool. Hopefully everybody has a good time. Now, here's what my client needs help with. And I am going to say he's a CPA, no other information. And he called me in a panic today because yesterday he's been battling this, well, a couple days ago with Google. He has a business profile, and Google emailed him, and this is a legitimate email, that your business profile has been disabled. And it has his address, his name, the way he's listed, and your business is not eligible for a business profile. He's been a CPA for years. This business profile has been removed by Google. Learn more about our restriction policy, and to appeal this decision, click on appeal below. Now, he clicked on the appeal, and he submitted, I think, way too much information, but he definitely sent enough information to prove he owns the house, his license as a CPA, and sent it. This morning, he receives the following email: your appeal has not been approved. Your recent appeal for a restricted listing has not been approved. Content that violates our policies on deceptive contact and behavior isn't allowed. Deceptive contact intentionally misleads or deceives others. He is absolutely not deceiving. How else can he fight this? There's no phone number. He clicked on the link for the appeal process. Has anyone dealt with this? And even if you were unsuccessful, is there a further way for him to escalate? When I was talking to him this morning, and I had no other real recommendations, I said, on my show tonight, I'm going to mention this and see over the next week, if I can get some responses that can assist you. I would really appreciate any recommendations, any help. Please email me, miketechshow@gmail.com. Now, I really appreciate that, and I know he would. For the problem that I ran into before the show, client had a power outage. And what happened is the peer server crashed, and when they booted it up, it needed a BitLocker key, and that's what they called us, and we gave them the BitLocker key that we have. And when they went in, it looked like everything was going to be fine. I remoted in, everything looks good, but no, nobody's map drives could map. And the scanner couldn't find the share for the scanner. Well, the first thing I did was go to the network settings, make sure everything's there. No, the network settings were all grayed out. And so for the first tip tonight, open up services and go to internet connection sharing. Make sure that it's either a manual triggered start or automatic. That service somehow was disabled. So I ran a bunch of antivirus and different, I ran the Malwarebytes, adware cleaner, the full Malwarebytes, just to make sure there was no infection that was doing that. But I don't know how it got disabled like that. And once I started that, everything's working. Bang. So I figured, let me at least discuss that with you. And, it's an easy fix. So why not mention that? And while we're on my test system here, let me bring up first, check out. It's still $7 for 1 full year. This is going to end. You got to jump on this. Instant house call. This is for any professional that needs remote access for your clients, for your business. This is what you need. There's an orange link in the show notes at MikeTechShow.com. There's also a big link on the left under sponsors for Instant House Call. Click on that. You're going to get all the information about the offer. And then, of course, you have the order page link at the bottom of this site. And you got to check it out. It's everything you need for your remote access, including unattended mode, which makes life very easy. And they released an upgrade for Apple. I'm like, oh, so glad. All right. So what I want to go over, because I have so many clients that are needing Windows 11 because their machine is too old and they're hitting that October 14th deadline. Or is it still a deadline? We're going to talk about that in a second. But first, you got to find out, is Windows 11 available? Can you upgrade? Can you do an in-place upgrade for Windows 11? Or on a system that's Windows 10? Well, this is a little utility called WinBootMate, and you can try it for free, and this will help you if you want to unlock Windows 11 on any PC where there's no TPM, no secure boot, or the CPU is limited. So, I have these links reversed, but I'll talk about this first. WinBootMate, I'm going to do this on a personal Surface Pro that says it can't run Windows 11, and this is a mint Surface Pro. And I'm not throwing that away. I am not wasting that. So what I want to do is make sure that I can run Windows 11. Now, I'm going to monitor that to see, hey, can I still get updates? There's a lot of risks by doing this, but this WinBootMate bypasses the Windows 11 restrictions, and you can go through step by step in building a new ISO disk image, and you can, make it a bootable DVD, and you answer the questions. You can just follow these simple steps, and I'm going to do this, and then I'll let you know how I make out, and then you can have your system run Windows 11. Here's the thing. I will never do this for a business. I am not going to put a business at risk where all of a sudden they can't get updates, or this is for personal use only. And that's what my recommendation is. You have a system, you can play with it. It's not going to hurt anything. So you want to test it out and try it. You got WinBootMate. So give that a look. Now, first thing we need to do, though, before any of that, are you compatible? And I've always been in search of the ultimate utility. Now, I have a great script that I use from Synchro, and in like 30 seconds, it comes back and gives me the results of a system. So that I ran on all our systems, and then take a look at each company and see which ones are compatible or not. As a matter of fact, I have multiple Zoom calls next week with clients where I got one client that would need 4 computers, another one that would need 20. Now, they know that. So it's not like this is a last minute. We have to start planning for when are they going to start doing some bulk purchasing here. So we're slowly hitting some of our clients and getting them in line. But this utility, download it, and you can, click, where is it? Here we go. Download the latest stable release. And remember, all these links are going to be in the show notes. So I downloaded this. Let's run it. And it's going to say, hey, your computer's already Windows 11. That's okay. Would you like to check feature update compatibility instead? And I'm going to say yes. So it's loading, and there it is. And we have green lights on everything. And right now it's checking DirectX 12. Your computer is ready for Windows 11 and its updates. So, of course, it better be, because it's already running Windows 11. And this is a Dell Optiplex that's a little older, but new enough to be able to run Windows 11. And this was a leftover system from a client that they came off lease and they wanted to just get rid of them. And I picked up a couple, and this is my test system that I use every week. So take a look at this. A great little update. Let you know real quick what's compatible, what isn't for Windows 11. So this is perfect. Now, do we need it? Microsoft makes Windows 10 security updates free for an extra year, but there's a catch. And Windows 10 users will have the option to continue receiving security updates for free beyond October 2025, so long as they sync their PC settings data with the cloud via a Microsoft account. So you have to have a personal Microsoft account. You got to have OneDrive and let it sync your PC settings. So you got to, right now it's been guerrilla marketing as they've been pushing back up your system. Now I understand, and for a lot of people that's very good, but there are other users based on their configurations that when they did that, bad things happened, where we didn't want them syncing their home computer because they're using their business Microsoft account on that. And what happened is their personal files started appearing on the desktop of their work computer. So we have clients that are in situations where we don't want them to do that. So everybody's going to have to individually assess, do you want to do this? If you're paying for a Microsoft account, then and you want to sync it, maybe you're doing it already. I got to decide, am I going to do that on my test system behind me? But I'm already Windows 11. But do I pick another computer, another test system? I mean, like an Optiplex that can't run Windows 11, and test it out and see, do the updates come? I'm definitely going to have to do that just to make sure, especially if we have clients that start doing this. Also, you can sign up, and they said July it's going to happen, that the Windows 10, and I talked about this a while ago, the ESU program was announced last year, and it will cost $30 per device if you choose not to sign in with a Microsoft account. So you're going to have two options if you don't want to buy new hardware. Let's say your system fails on the Windows 11 test. You don't want to do the bypass. You want to keep your Windows 10 Pro. We don't know how long, but we think it's going to be another year. Now, you can decide, if I already have a Microsoft account, all I have to do is sync it to the cloud with Microsoft. It's going to be free, and I can get my updates. If not, do you spend $30? And that's the choice. And that's why I wanted to really go over that tonight, because that's important for your clients, maybe yourself. I just put the link in the chat. It's definitely worthy of the discussion with certain clients, and then you're going to have to evaluate that, or yourself. If you're listening to this show and you were involved, then yes, I think you should try that bypass. You know, it might be worth it because you're technical enough to set that bootable USB up. If not, you don't want to go through that work. You don't have the time, you don't want to, and you already have a Microsoft account, bang. And then if you only want to spend $30, it gets you a year, then at least you have that option. So that's why I wanted to kind of revisit Windows 11 for all of this, because I think that's important that you know and have all the options. This is the summer to make those decisions and decide, you know, and help your clients decide. I have a few more Windows links. Microsoft quietly installed secret update on some Windows 10 and 11 PCs. And it's the KB 500 1716 on their PCs. And what are they doing? It's more of an auxiliary update for Windows Update itself. What? When this update is installed, Windows may attempt to download and install feature updates to your device if it is approaching or has reached the end of support for your currently installed Windows version. Remember, even like 22H1 or H2 is coming off of support. So you definitely want to take a look at this. And, you know, a lot of you might not have known that this update installed with all of your updates. So I figured, let's keep an eye on that. Now, since we're talking Windows 11, and, you know, this is a good time. Remember, I swore I was going to be redoing my main system that I'm working on right now for the show. I had no time this past week. So, this weekend, the goal is to absolutely do this update. As a matter of fact, I already started prepping by listing out all of my installed programs on this computer. And I have 45 programs that I must install. So that's tomorrow, is getting ready, making sure I got serial numbers. I deactivate, Malwarebytes here, and I make sure to keep the license. I deactivate a phonic leveler. And there are programs that I have on this system that can only run on one computer, and I got to deactivate them and make sure I have the serial number and the download. So tomorrow is prep work. Then Saturday, I'm just going to suck it up, get down on all fours, unplug everything, and then move it over to the workbench. And then the first thing I am doing is popping the 2 4 terabyte drives in the motherboard. Then I'm going to do an extremely detailed memory test, because I want to make sure that with these different power outages and different things that the UPS is, that's my next thing, is that the memory didn't damage. Because I don't know if you remember way back, I think a couple of years ago in Florida, I had little hiccups of the little hiccups that the system would just go up and down, and it was just my office area. It wasn't like a full power outage. It was enough to kill the RAM, half the RAM. And remember, I went through that whole process of Corsair. And as a matter of fact, Carrie actually sent them back for me and then got me a full replacement. And I had already upgraded. So since I had 32, I bought the 2 sticks to replace the 2 bad ones. Still stayed at 32, but what we did is what we sent back, I got 32 back, and it was great. So I was able to now have 64. Well, there's already 64 gigs of RAM here. Is any of the RAM bad? I got to find out right away, and I got to run the mem test. Then after I start rebuilding the operating system and I test it, okay, now what? Well, WinAereo. And I wanted to mention this again because this, to me, is a must-have. There are tweaks that I have to have. I have no choice. I cannot exist without the classic shell, without that context menu. I have to have Notepad Classic. I hate the new Notepad. So there are a few tweaks that I have discussed in the past. And so I figured, well, in the show notes, why not a link to show 911 where I talk about a lot of those tweaks, Microsoft Power Toys and Win Aereo. So I figured, okay, let me link that because that gives you all the good links and you could hear the show again with me discussing it. Now, what else? Well, I figured since this is the latest, greatest on Windows 11 show, why not link the show that I did not too long ago, show 949. And when did I do this? May 22nd. And this was the ways to force the upgrade and to force a feature Windows 11. So I'm going to be doing this for some clients coming up where we have identified them as a client that can have an in-place Windows 11 upgrade. So given that, I figured, let me list that again. I rarely list other shows in a show. So I figured, okay, let me do that while I was putting this show together. And remember, I put this show together a couple weeks ago. I started. And remember, after last week's show, I said, I already got this one kind of in the bag, except for the two things I discussed when I opened up tonight, which is please, if you know anyone or you've went through the battling Google on them removing your business profile and were you successful, were you just any info, email me. And so I can help my client. And he's really upset. This is how he gets, as he says, 100% of his business. So, of course, he gets a lot of word of mouth, but he lives on that and relies on that, the Google business profile. That, and don't forget that, hey, internet connection sharing, make sure that service is running. If you ever see that grayed out, and it was immediate. Everything was working then. That is it for tonight's show. Based on my success of redoing the main system here, there should be a show next Thursday night. So I anticipate I'm going to be successful. I got to make sure OBS Studio is up and running and linked to Twitch. OBS Studio, I got to re-add the camera, re-add the mixer. I got to dig up my mixer driver. There's a lot of things I have not touched in over 5 years here for this computer that I now have to absolutely get them in line so I can record the show and broadcast the show. So that is it, and I hope everybody has an enjoyable and happy 4th of July weekend. Stay safe, stay cool. Don't forget to hit the main website, MikeTechShow.com. It'll flip you to MikeNation.net. Don't forget that incredible deal for Instant House Call. And also, if it's in your heart to make a donation, there's a donation link. I would really, really appreciate it. Bye-bye, everybody.